What makes me, me? How do I know others will be the same person over time? If you have ever asked yourself these questions, you have questioned personal identity. Philosophers have argued over the answers to these questions for years and years. Many arguments and debates have been had to try to explain each side's viewpoint, but still there is no definitive answer. This is because there are numerous ways to try to explain how an individual can survive change with regards to the passing of time, and the answers that each person comes up with highly depend on their outlook on life, time, and how they affect people. At which point is person Q at time 1 and person X at time 2 the same person? This idea can be explained through a simple thought experiment. Suppose you, your mother, and a random guy from the city are abducted by aliens. They take you into a UFO and strap you into a chair and force you to watch as they perform an operation to switch your mom's brain with the brain of a random guy from the city. The aliens tell you that you can choose one person to take back with you to planet Earth, as they would like to keep a human body for further testing on the effects of brain swapping. You know that the brain testing that they are going to perform on the patient most likely won't be pleasant, but they assure you that the person won't die, and even incentivize you by saying that they'll take you and the person you choose to go get ice cream before they drop you off. Who do you choose to take back home with you and why? Here are some possible answers and why you might decide to act in that way. Before you make a decision, it is important to note that when philosophers are referring to personal identity, they are referring to a numerical identity. Let's start with Leibniz's theory. Leibniz's law states that if A is identical to B, then any property had by A is also had by B. If we look at the kidnapping situation from this point of view, then it quickly becomes obvious that your mother is no longer identical to the person she was before she was kidnapped and had her brain switched. Since she is not identical, she cannot count as qualitatively the same person. Therefore, there is room for argument that the woman is, in fact, no longer your mother at all. For this reason, you might choose the random stranger's body to take home with you as, even though they are not the same person as before, they hold the brain of your mother, which is the most integral part of her being. The person who was your mother no longer exists according to Leibniz, but her thoughts and memories exist within a new person, which would make choosing that new person the more logical answer. It is important to note that she still identifies with herself in the random guy's body, and that she still has the same behavior, and that she's scared of spiders, and loves the movie Titanic, which always makes her cry. Choosing the random guy's body to take back to the planet Earth suggests that you consider personal identity to be based on mental continuity, and therefore are against Leibniz's continuity theory. Locke is another philosopher who had differing views on personal identity. Locke refers to personal identity as persisting over time due to memory retention of oneself at different stages in their life. Locke says that if person Q at time 1 shares the same memories with person Y at time 2, then person Q and person Y are in fact the same person. He states that memory and consciousness are both sufficient and necessary for personal identity. However, there is a problem with this theory. In taking inspiration from Thomas Reid's brave officer argument, suppose that during the alien abduction, the flashing lights from the UFO remind you of a time when you and your mother went to go see the Northern Lights in Minnesota 10 years ago. 40 years go by, you remember being abducted by aliens at 23, but you don't remember going to see the Northern Lights in Minnesota at 9 years old with your mother. And using Locke's theory, how then are you at Q at time 1, person W at time 2, and person A at time 3 the same person, if you cannot recall the same events at each time? According to Locke's view, the memory theory can be altered to solve the problem at hand. Using logic, we can suggest that if Q is equal to W and W is equal to A, then A must equal Q as they have a relation to W. Person Q and person A are also memories, and person A and person Q are the same person, as they are connected by a memory chain. In contrast to this theory is the theory of animalism. Animalists believe that human identity correlates with body identity, and that personal identity depends on you being the same human animal over time. Therefore, the person you would identify with being your mother would be the person in your mother's body, not the random stranger with your mother's brain. Finally, we will look at David Hume. Hume states that the idea of the self cannot persist over time, as the self is just a bundle of impressions, the body, mind, likes, dislikes, labels, and memories. He argues that there is no possible way a permanent self can exist over time for these reasons, and that cause-effect relationships are grounded in habits of thinking rather than honest perception of other things. Therefore, he would say that no matter who you pick, it really wouldn't make a difference. The people in front of you are not the same people who were there 5 minutes ago, or the same people who will be there in 5 minutes. Is David Hume right in saying that there is no identity? Are there other theories that you know of? We were able to find many other theories, but not able to cover them all, as we don't have time to touch on them in this video. All the theories goes to show that this is a very complicated subject, and it's very hard to define what makes a person a person. Tell us if you agree with the theories that we stated in this video, or if you believe something different. Thank you for interacting with us, and feel free to leave a comment below, and have a good day.